You're just moments away from a brand new episode of WTF Nations Radio's Pop Culture Warrior, hosted by the dynamic duo CQ and Radar. Pop Culture Warrior is your number one source for all things entertainment. If it's happening in TV, movies, video games, or comedy, they're all over it. And don't forget to say hi in the comments below. And while you're at it, let the boys know what you think and what you'd like to hear them talk about. Now strap in and get comfortable, because you're in for one hell of a ride. This is Pop Culture Warrior. Shots.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Welcome, one and all. Today is April 13th, 2021. This is episode 52 of Pop Culture Warrior, the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture, so you don't have to. I am, like the box says, CQ. I'm your pop culture hookup, man. And with me, as always, is our very own pop culture crack up, the man in the bubble, the very unpop cultured Mr. Radar. What's up, buddy?
I thought you were going to call me the very untalented. Well.
Well, listen, you know what? I've been thinking about it. I think I'm going to stop calling you the voice of the unpop cultured because you're catching up, man.
Because I'm starting to learn.
We're starting to get 1 year in, and we're starting to get you where you need to be. So yeah, I kind of I don't know what to call you now. If you're not the voice of the unpop cultured, what are you?
Apparently, I don't know, dude. I'm something. Well, I mean, yeah, all I have to do is like pay attention to this shit for like a little bit over a year, and I finally started paying attention and like.
You finally started getting into it, yes. What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for joining us. We got a lot of fun stuff today, bunch of good headlines. We got a great interview coming up in the second half, so stick around for that. It's gonna be for those of you guys that love beer. We got a guy who knows all about beer and has the podcast to prove it. So stick around for that.
Who doesn't like beer though?
I mean, there's people. I'm not saying me. I'm not saying you. There's people. Real quick, guys, if you haven't liked the Facebook page, Pop Culture Warrior yet, we're at like 700 and I don't know some odd. But once we get to 750, we're doing a big giveaway. I need a sound cue for that. But we're gonna do a big giveaway. All you have to do to be in the giveaway is to like the page. So like the page, you're automatically entered. So go like the page. Now that I've said that, before we talk about anything, I got to get us hyped. I got to get us in the right frame of mind. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready for this.
So guys, they just released the other day the new theme song for Mortal Kombat, the movie. Just sit back, enjoy. Warning: if you guys got headphones in, it's a banger. So you might want to lower. You got 2 seconds to lower your volume just a bit. Here we go. I should have cut the Zemo dancing from the club, and he's like doing the Mortal Kombat, you know? He's like, yeah, right, dude. What'd you think? That's pretty good.
Yeah, man, it's all right.
That's good, man. I'm gonna get the soundtrack. I haven't bought a movie soundtrack since I think the original Mortal Kombat in 1992. That's a lie. I think I might have bought the Men in Black soundtrack. I don't know. I was a nerd as a child. Anyway, what you guys think? What you guys think in the theme song, man? I think
it was all right, man.
You know, it's a spin on the classic. It's an updated techno EDM version of the classic. And that one goes on for about 3 or 4 minutes, and then like towards the end, they're like Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and like they start saying all the characters' names and shit. It's pretty funny. Mike says the old one was better. I mean, I don't know. I for that time, maybe, but now, yeah. John, what's up?
It's definitely
Flawless
contemporary,
victory.
but it's not bad.
It's not bad.
So, like Tom says, it'll work. I mean, yeah,
It'll work.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. It'll get the job done. I see you, John. I see you. Hey, what's up, Kaz? How you guys doing? Man, so many people out. Thanks for tuning in. Got a bunch of guys. Tug, Donald, Bryce, Lucas. What's up, guys? Heath, how you doing? JP. Oh, so awesome for you guys to join in. So real quick. Obviously, before we jump into any headlines, we always got to discuss what's on the pulse, and we know what you think of the latest episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
It was fucking pretty intense, dude. It was pretty intense.
Did I call it, or did I fucking call it, that he was going to get the serum and he was going to go bad?
He would, but I see we got that, like, that was like a medium right again. I mean, it was pretty foretelling that he was going to get somehow.
Yeah.
He got it, maybe was not how we thought he was going to.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It wasn't bad. I didn't think the way he got it was bad. I'm actually surprised. I was surprised by the monologue with him and his sergeant major about, like, you know, should we take it?
Right. Would we be good? Yeah.
And the different reasonings behind it. How he was like more afraid of what it would do to him.
Mm-hmm.
Where Battlestar was like, dude, think of how many people we could have saved with that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Almost thinking that Battlestar would have been a better fucking Captain America.
I mean, maybe.
I mean, on it, just from the way he was kind of his voice of reason, and how Walker doesn't have that kind of voice of reason to him. He's very much. I think this is. I mean, because there's lots of because John Walker in the comics has pretty much been a bad dude, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so, kind of like Punisher in that kind of like toes the line between bad guy and good guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, we all kind of knew, like, there's a lot of the MCU has to kind of evolve and change, right?
Right.
You know, you've got Thor, kind of that character evolving, Iron Man changing, evolving, whatever. His characters have died and now moved on or whatever. We saw with, the Scarlet Witch kind of evolution.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're, I don't know how much this is going to parallel the comics when it comes to, the Captain America, kind of all this, how this is going to. I mean, you basically made John Walker into a bad guy this show, right?
I mean, yeah.
Essentially,
I mean,
he may come back and forth, and you've kind of made Zemo into kind of a good guy, whereas he wasn't before. There's a lot of character evolution on those two characters in particular.
Yeah.
So, we've kind of turned, and I don't know, like, how this is his fall from grace is going to progress. Obviously, I don't think any of us really know for sure, but it's a neat character arc to kind of build for going farther into this kind of fourth iteration of the MCU. How this is going to change this a little bit.
Yeah.
So. Do you agree with that trajectory though? Do you think it's a good idea or no?
I'm kind of up in the air because somewhat it's predictable and somewhat it's like, well, how are we going to get to where we need to go? Mike in the chat says, "What world are we in where Zemo is good and loved by everyone and Cap is bad?" Zemo is
Cap
just
can't dance. Apparently, that's the problem.
Yeah.
But I mean, in all reality, like, and I don't know. There is some canon for these characters in the comics, and I don't know if they're trying to kind of catch up to that.
Sure, a little
bit, obviously I'm not as comic savvy as most out there probably when it comes to these things. Just the kind of little bit that I read up on it, or you've kind of explained to me or through the show, like, well, in the comics he does this, and in the comics he does that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's got a lot of room to build on that though, both ways. I mean, you could bring it back. You could bring Cat back into it too, and be like, he realizes how bad it can be, and he doesn't want to be that because he really is a good guy, and
Right.
you know what I mean. Like,
And it's what scares me is like there's only 2 episodes left, and I'm just like, man, I feel like we're building to this big moment, this big thing, and it's like, is there enough time to cover it all, right? Because we've got the Sharon Carter, we've got the Zemo, we've got the U.S. agent / new Captain America, we've got Bucky and Falcon, and like there's just so much happening, and the flag smashes, the flag smashes, the Wakandans, GRC. Real quick before we jump on to something else, there's an interesting New Rock Stars on YouTube. Is a series, a bunch of nerds doing their thing.
I didn't get that. Could you try?
Shut up. So
Siri, we're busy.
We're in the middle of something serious. Shut up. New Rock Stars is a great channel on YouTube. You should check them out. They got a lot of great content. But they just posted a video where the guy said that, I mean, this hasn't been talked about, but that he feels a lot was changed about Falcon and Winter Soldier. And maybe not a lot, but one of the main subplots. So basically, when they went to break, because of the pandemic, and they shot a bunch of stuff. He goes, and he's right, because they showed the scenes. If you go back to every scene where it's like the flag smashers talking about the power broker, talking about the cure or the serum and all that, it's all done off camera. And by that, what I mean is you see one person talking, and they'll cut to another person just listening, and then there'll be some audio dialogue about how, like, oh, the power broker's after us. So this guy feels that a lot of this was changed in edit and in post after they had already shot half the season before they finished shooting the other half. A lot of it being because the insider gossip is that there was a major subplot line about a virus coming from East Asia area and how it was going to decimate the world. And so they were like, we're going to have to change that shit. So all the GRC stuff, all the this stuff. Because if you remember in the first episode when Bucky and Falcon are chasing down the trucks, and they jump in and they go, what were they stealing? And it was like, oh, it's just a bunch of vaccines. So the idea was that the vaccines were going to be crucial, and the fact that they got stopped. And remember when they got to the airport and then Power Broker's men caught up to them, they had to leave the vaccines. They weren't able to take the vaccines with them. And then we lead to her, Mama Danya dies. And so the idea was that Mama Danya is not going to die from tuberculosis. The actress that they hired to play her is actually a very noteworthy actress who's done a lot of good stuff. And they're like, so for the fact that she doesn't play a single role and is basically just a mute dead person, why would they hire her of all people to do it? So
they go through the trouble with that. Yeah.
They're saying a lot of it was re-edited, a lot of it was recut, that there was a whole subplot line of she gets sick with this virus. It's gonna run rampant in the world. So the flag smashers are sympathetic in that they're trying to get the cure that the government is only giving out to the rich people and upper class, and they're trying to get it for those lower class incomes, which was gonna parallel the story of how Sam, being from a low income, family, wasn't able to get the loan. It was supposed to line up, how see, we're the lower class, we're getting mistreated and we're not being, taken care of. And I went back and I watched a lot of it and I was like, holy shit. Yeah. Every time they're talking about the power broker, it's always like that, Sharon Carter's on the phone and she says something, they flash to the other person listening. And then a lot of exposition about how oh yeah, these guys, these bad guys, they're doing this stuff. And, so it's interesting to see. I'm curious to see if after the fact, right? They're not going to talk about it now, but if after the fact they go, yeah, there was this whole subplot line and we had to, change it. But it's just fascinating to me, how you have to pivot on a dime. And honestly, I think they've done the best with what they had and what they could do. But it's funny because the little things that stuck out to me is this GRC stuff that they kept talking about that really doesn't go anywhere. Just a lot of little things, the intricacies of why they're doing certain things. Marvel's usually a lot better at portraying these people in more of a fashion of like, oh, I get it and I can understand, but they went from stealing vaccines to blowing up shit, it seemingly like overnight for no real reason.
Right, in like a day.
Yeah,
Like,
and for no real reason. So it does. I do think it had to do with kind of them having to change the story midway through, but still, I think that it's a great show. They're doing a great job, and I'm excited to see these last 2 episodes. And I will say, how do I say this without giving anything away? We might know someone who plays a part or is involved.
Yeah, Clark Gregg.
No, not Clark Gregg. No, we might have had someone on the show who will appear somewhere in the next 2 episodes of Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's all I can say right now. We'll have that person we'll try to get that person back on and talk about it after the fact. But we know somebody. We've talked to somebody who might be involved in these last 2 episodes.
Louis Anderson's the power broker.
Louis, damn it, you ruined it. Louis Anderson is the power broker. You're spot on. Excuse me, dry throat. But anyway,
because I'm already like coffee enough. So,
which guys, everybody wish COVID radar over here a recovery, because our man here was tested positive, and he's plowing through it to be here today. He's barreling through it, sucking it up, driving on. So
don't be a pussy about it.
Godspeed, good sir.
But back to real life though. Back to Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah. I actually watched the episode twice because it was
good. Yeah.
Oh my god! Speaking of that, yeah, like offline, send me some more shit to watch, because I'm like, I still have like
I got you.
Like 6 more days of this shit.
I got you.
But so we're looking at the Flag Smashers, right? And how they were going to try to get Falcon to join them. Where does that kind of lead, do you think? Do you think there's going to be, especially now that there's something that kind of
no, that point's passed. That point's passed.
No. Yes, it is, and it's not. Okay, because we just watched Captain America, quote unquote Captain America, viciously murdered that dude.
Yeah.
Right. Like, Sam can't stand for that. The U.S. can't stand for that.
Right.
But Sam can't stand the way that the Flag Smashers have kind of been carrying on. You know, he's even, said as far, I agree with your cause, just not the way you're fighting it.
Right.
So do we think that we've talked about kind of how that particular incident, the very end of the show, how that affects or may affect Captain America, how it might affect fucking Walker.
Yeah.
But we didn't say how it affected this, how it kind of switches into that. Like, because these guys kind of know they're kind of in a rock and a hard place now. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like the beginning of the show where they're kind of like, oh, no one knows who we are. We just kind of do this.
Yeah.
Sam in particular knows them pretty well, right? Knows them, knows where they're at, is with them, basically, right? But they know that they can't really get away with what they're doing, right? They know they can't do that for much longer.
Sure.
And now that, this guy is fucking on them as well. You know what I mean? Like, he's on them. He's obviously killed one of them and shows zero remorse when he gets up from it. Like, they got to be kind of shaking their boots a bit, right? Be like, oh, maybe we should, I don't know, piss off Captain America no more.
I think it's gonna get crazy. I think the next 2 episodes are gonna get crazy. I think,
do we have time for that? Do we really have time for that? This is where I was at the same spot with WandaVision with this.
We were in the last episode. We're like, how do they wrap this up?
How do they wrap up? You've got 5 plot lines going in 45 minutes. How do you wrap these up?
And they did a pretty good job, I think. So, ish. You know,
I think it felt really like thrown together at the end, kind of. Honestly, I mean, did it not? It kind of.
No, I thought it was a good wrap up, and then you have to leave a couple loose things just to entice people to continue on. That's normal, but I think the major plot stuff they put
Ish. I mean, they
put to
basically
bed.
said Wanda was in charge and fucking whatever, and now
Yeah.
there's a vision, but there's no vision. And I don't know. We're not going to rehash
There
that
is no
bullshit.
vision without
And there's
vision.
no fucking. There's still. They're like, oh, we're gonna go to Matthew for, but there's not many fucking. No, I'm a fucking mutants at for two, but I mean.
Oh God, give it some time, man. Mutants are coming. They're coming. They're not here yet, but
I
they're
just feel
coming.
like there's a lot hanging right now. And like JP said, they have to leave it a cliffhanger, like always. I'm sure they will to an extent. They kind of
Yeah,
have to.
they have
You're
to.
right. You do have to leave. They do have to be able to segue into the next show. And what is the next show that's going to really pick up this fucking timeline?
Loki. Loki is the next show. I mean, again, when you're talking timelines, that's when it gets
No,
wonky.
I'm not like, okay, so we knew at the end of WandaVision that was going into the new Doctor Strange movie.
And Spider-Man and Captain Marvel too. Yes.
Yeah. But that's the end goal for that is, Doctor Strange and Multitude of Madness, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Which may be the next time we actually see Wanda. We may have her, Wanda double vision. I don't know, but where is this one going? Where's Falcon and Winter Soldier? Where is the kind of, do we have to wait till the end to kind of see? Is this going into Spider-Man? Is this going into?
That's a great question, man. There hasn't been they haven't tipped their hat yet, kind of where it's going. The assumption would be that being that we saw what's his name, Rhodey, early in the first episode, there is going to be an Armor Wars show where it's basically like the legacy of Iron Man and the suit and how War Machine has to protect Iron Man's legacy, all that. So this could kind of tie into that. The fact
Black Panther 2?
Possibly.
Because
The
opponents have kind of been getting their shit fucking all up in this too.
It's so like the Black Panther 2, they haven't even started writing it yet. I mean, or I should say they're writing it. They haven't started like pre-production yet. They don't even have like a finished script yet. So it would be hard to say this ties directly into that when, I mean, they don't really have even a script done yet. But I mean, there's a lot of projects, and this is one of the shows where they talked about that, like where WandaVision was going to be a one-off thing.
Right.
But Falcon and Winter Soldier, they've teased like there could be a season 2, like there could be a continuation of this story or some version of it in the future. So it's just keeping those characters that are under contract busy, I guess, because there's lots of other ways they can go with it. But
I maybe I beat it. It just seems really messy. Right, it does kind of seem to be a little bit messier than WandaVision. Maybe because you do have so many different characters kind of intermixed with it.
Yeah.
Right, but it has to go somewhere.
Sure.
Like not just to another season. Like they're building canon for.
U.S. agent should be involved at some point, and there's a lot of, for people that know the comic books, there are a lot of breadcrumbs. Torres, the Spanish Air Force guy that was hanging around with Falcon early.
Yeah,
in the comics, he ends up taking on the mantle of Falcon. Later on in the comic books, he becomes the next Falcon. When Falcon became Captain America, he became Falcon. So again, they're laying lots of breadcrumbs out about where things could go without really, we know Backtrack the Leaper is still out there doing stuff. I mean, he could be showing up at some point. I mean, there's lots. There's lots. I think we've seen the end of Zemo for this series. Maybe. But yeah, there's just so many ways they can go with it. I don't know. We'll have to see this week.
Carnage should have stole that shield.
Probably. But all right, we got so many headlines to cover. Let's see. I'm gonna try to give you guys the things I found most interesting of this week. We'll start off with something we don't get to talk about a lot. So hang on. Hey, there he is. There's our buddy. What did we decide on? Marty? Was that Marty? Was that the? There's little Marty. What's up, Marty?
Oh, Marty.
For those of you that don't get the joke, I mean, watch the previous episode. You'll get it.
Yeah.
So what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So obviously, I'm a big fan of Walking Dead and a lot of different things. So Image Comics and Skybound Entertainment are the creators of Walking Dead and other series like Invincible, which is on Amazon Prime, totally worth a watch. They're doing something special, the comic books, because obviously Walking Dead, the comic book, finally closed its pages. The series is dead and gone. So they're doing something special. It's the 10-year anniversary of Skybound Entertainment, Walking Dead, and all the stuff they put out. So they're putting together what they're calling Skybound X. It's a 5-issue limited comic book series, and they're going to be doing, each issue is about a different kind of character from the various 10 years of their publication. And then the one thing that's going to be a through line of it is the first few pages of each oversized book is going to be what they're calling Rick Grimes 2000. So basically, if you read the comic books, Walking Dead number 75 ended with this super weird ending. So at one point, Rick gets knocked out, and when he comes to, the ending of the book shows him like on an alien spaceship, and basically he finds out that the whole zombie apocalypse was this alien plot to weaken our world so that they could take over. And it's this ridiculous fever dream of an ending to the which it was a joke. It was a joke made by the writers. But so many people were like, "Oh my God, The Walking Dead! What a twist!" But it was he ends up waking up for real in the next issue. But what they're doing for this special 5-issue series is the first few pages of each issue, the first of these 5 issues, is going to pick up as if that were the true ending of Walking Dead, where like what happened. So to give you a quick explanation, so Rick was hit over the head. He wakes up in this scientific infirmary. He notices that his missing hand has been replaced by a robotic one. He puts on armor that he finds. He gets out of this spaceship. He sees Glenn and Douglas, and they're being torn apart by zombies. But then he finds Tyrese, Axel, and Martinez. Michonne appears, explains how 3 weeks ago Rick had disappeared. Days later, aliens came to invade. She explains how they planned everything, reanimating the dead, destroying civilization. Their plan was to use the remaining humans to harvest water where they apparently could use it as currency on their planet. It's a very ridiculous plotline. The remaining humans decide to fight back. Michonne ends up being killed by the governor, who's now a cyborg. And yeah, it's a whole ridiculous plot line. But they're gonna like pick up, like they're gonna flesh out and finish that story. But there's gonna be other cool parts to the stories. So the one that I was most interested in about, and I'll show you a picture here, is this one. So that is for those that played the Telltale Games Walking Dead video game. That's Clementine. And so one of the issues will continue Clementine's story and where she's at now. She's to be her first time in the comic. She was never a comic book character. She had her own story within the Walking Dead universe that was purely the video game, which spanned like, was it 5 games and 20 something episodes. Great series, absolutely phenomenal series. But yeah, so they're gonna talk about a bunch of different characters, but that's one of the ones I was like, oh, that's cool that Clementine never got a comic book appearance, and so she's finally getting that. So Skybound X will be available at comic book shops, digital platforms including Amazon Kindle, Apple Books, Comixology, Google Play, starting with issue number 1, Wednesday, July 7th. So there you go. Thoughts on Skybound X?
It's what.
I didn't think you'd have a lot to
I don't have any
say.
thoughts on it, dude. I'm just like,
How about the ridiculous Rick alien plotline? Not interested at all.
I mean, it sounds like a natural progression for the series.
Yeah.
As fucking ridiculous as it was getting, I don't know. Because I actually read the graphic novels for The Walking Dead. I actually read quite a few of those.
Right.
And I was kind of impressed with them. That was the beginning. Would have been it'd been like maybe 2 years into the show, so like what, 5 years maybe into the comics.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I started kind of at the beginning, so it was like it wasn't as like I don't know. I know it's got kind of ridiculous, and it just seems like a natural progression for the
Right.
series. Honestly, like
Yeah.
it was kind of ridiculous. Like it kind of makes sense to be stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think it's a cool, fun little thing that they're doing just to, celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the series and of the publisher and everything. So I don't know. Some people might think it's just a cash grab, which, I mean, come on, it's a business, right? That's everything they release is a cash grab. That's the whole idea. But I just think it's a cool way to celebrate some characters that people love and probably miss. So.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's not, and it is cool. I don't hate it. I sound cynical and I sound kind of shitty, but I don't hate it.
No,
You know what I mean?
no.
Like, yeah, I hate other things. Like,
just make it good. Just make it good, right?
whatever. I like to even do that.
All
It
right.
just sounds so ridiculous. Which, I mean, it's a comic book. Or,
Comic
sorry,
book.
it's a graphic novel.
It's a graphic.
It's a fucking comic book. It can be ridiculous.
That's the point. That's the
right?
point.
But it just kind of seems like, I don't know. At least everything else Walking Dead has gotten so fucking ridiculous. It's not a surprise that it got even more ridiculous.
All right. Next category.
Yes.
Games. For those that are big Call of Duty Warzone players, we got some news today. Some pretty big news. They've been teasing this for a while. I don't know if you play. Do you play a lot of Warzone there, Radar?
No.
No,
I don't.
you
No.
don't. You don't.
I actually turned on my Xbox again the other day. I haven't had it on for a while.
Good for you, buddy.
I played Forza for a bit, and then I played World of Tanks for a little bit, and then I remember why I quit playing those stupid fucking games, and then
Right.
I played Human Fall Flat because I just needed brainless, not getting my blood pressure any higher than it already was.
Not a good idea.
Yeah,
Not a good
that's
idea.
what I did.
So anyway, so for Call of Duty Warzone Season 3, they've been teasing for a while that they were going to overhaul the map. Now, recently we saw the zombie outbreak hit Verdansk, and in the past we've seen bunker codes that led to little things about nuclear armament, and so a lot of people, myself included, believe the idea was they were going to push this zombie event to the point of, oh no, the zombie's taking over. All that we can do is basically nuke the map. And then, like, there'll be this final, like, it's the final countdown. Like, and then just nukes rain down. So basically, it's all been rumor. And Call of Duty hasn't said anything officially until this morning. Officially, the Call of Duty Twitter account posted a very cryptic message this morning. It said, "The end is near. 4/21/21, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time." That's it. Now, there were clues in this image that I really, they're saying we're going to nuke the shit out of this map on April 21, 12 p.m. Pacific. So if you want to see Verdansk totally nuked, that's when you're going to want to tune in. And apparently there'll be a new map afterwards. Now, the leading theory was that either A, it's going to get nuked into oblivion, and now the map is going to be like nuclear fallout, and you're going to play in that, which I don't really know how that would work.
Whatever, they did that in the normal games, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, you could really do that. You could make it. That actually would be a lot of fun. I always like those maps whenever people would fuck them up like that.
Yeah. So that was one option. The other option was that, they'd nuke it and a completely new map, right? That map doesn't exist anymore, so we have to go fight somewhere else. And so that a whole new map would take place. The latest rumor, done some digging, there's some leaked footage, there's some unfinished commercials, there's a couple of things that you good there, buddy?
I know what it is. I know what they're gonna do. Keep going on, and I'm gonna tell you what they're.
Oh goodness.
Go on.
The rumor is the aesthetic they're going for is they're going to travel back in time, and that it will be Verdansk. It will be the same map, but from the past. So like the stadium that's in the middle will be under construction, things like that. But I would love to hear what Radar has to say about it.
It's gonna be a wide open desert, and in the middle is gonna be rust.
It's gonna be like 100 miles wide with just a tiny little
just desert, little shitty towns every now and again.
It's gonna be all the smallest maps ever.
Is gonna be rust.
It's gonna be rust in the middle. There'll be like shipment on one side. There'll be what was it? What was the other super small ones? Nuketown will be in one corner, and it's just miles and miles. I say shit, go for it. If you're gonna nuke the thing, like make it. It's just one sheet of.
It would be kind of fucking fun.
One sheet of glass. The whole. It's just
or just make it barren as fuck. Like, yeah, basically like a fucking. You have to give it some features, so you have somewhere, not maybe some bushes or some shit, and some like a radioactive ass deer.
Activision. Whoever's making Call of Duty, call your boy Radar. He's got ideas. Empty desert with a bush.
What if rust, right? We're going to go rust. But you're itty bitty tiny, right? And like the map itself is like 100 miles, like a giant tower in the middle.
So it's the size of Verdansk, but it's the rust map.
Yes.
So it's just, and you're normal size, so like it's just
you're like ant sized. Yes.
I don't know where you come with. What medication did they give you that you're on right now?
The
fever has taken over. Yeah. So basically, as it is right now, there is no final word on what it's going to be. But based on everything I've dug up, the leading prevailing theory is that it's going to somehow. I don't necessarily believe it's gonna like, oh, we suck through a wormhole and we travel back in time. I feel it's gonna be more of like it gets nuked, and then like you would see in a TV show where it's like 20 years earlier, and now we're gonna be in Verdansk 20 years ago, in the 80s. Or oh my God, did I just say the 80s were 20 years ago? Jesus Christ!
I can top you on that one.
40 years ago in the 80s. It feels like just 20 years ago.
We're talking, my wife and I said some shit. We were talking. I don't remember what it was, but I was like, she's like, yeah, like our parents' age. I'm like, no, like way fucking older than that. I'm like, so like somebody in their 70s. And she's like, my dad turned 7. My dad's like 67. And I'm like, oh, mine is too. Oh, sorry about it. Like,
sorry about it.
Like my grandpa thinking that was old as shit.
So yeah. So I'm curious what it's gonna be like. I'm a Warzone player. I enjoy it from time to time. I've been known to get a dub or two on the Warzone maps, and I'm curious to see what they do with it. What they do with it.
What do you I mean, honestly, like, is it this just the same map every time?
Yes.
Warzone.
Yes. It's one. Well, that's the thing though. It's one giant map. And there's so many different sections, and they're each biome, as it were, is kind of like its own map. You know, you're in the port, you're in the quarry, you're in the downtown, you're in the wilderness. Like there's so many different areas.
But when you jump out of the plane, or whatever, however you spawn in,
it's one map.
It's just one map, and you can go to any part of the map, and you have to face the circle, kind of like you do in
PUBG,
But at least PUBG has like different maps.
Does it? I've never actually played.
You should play PUBG. I think I played Warzone at like a buddy's house like one time. It's just dumb. Like I actually don't mind PUBG. I haven't played it in a while.
Yeah.
I didn't mean it to be a thing anymore. That's on my Xbox. But I mean, I just watched the kids play Fortnite, and Fortnite's the same map, I guess, all the time.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
PUBG. Last time I played PUBG, it had like 3 or 4 different maps.
Yeah, I don't know. I
mean,
honestly couldn't
it's
say.
the same concept. Well, I mean, PUBG kind of originated, let's be honest, but. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I only play like once.
I see people in the chats. Yeah, throw up your gamer tags, man. Screw it. Let's all we can get one big Warzone map. We should do that one day, man. I can totally, the way we play Jackbox, I could set up a private lobby on Warzone, and just everybody here could jump on and play.
Is it cross-platform?
It is cross-platform.
Okay.
We could all play Warzone together.
Warzone is free, right?
It is. And that actually ties into my next thing.
Okay.
Ready? Microsoft, it announced it a while ago, but it's official. It's cutting the Xbox Live Gold requirement for party chat and free-to-play multiplayer games.
Yes.
So you will not need to have an Xbox Live Gold account if you want to use party chat or if you want to play free-to-play multiplayer games, such as Apex, such as Warzone. I think Rocket League's going free and some of the other ones. So that's a huge deal, right? Because, let's say your kid only plays Fortnite. It's the only game he plays. And it's like, well, shit, I'm putting out $120 a year just so he can chat with his friends and play Fortnite, which is a free game. Now, you'll be able to cut the Xbox Live and say, dude, you still got the party chat. You still got the Apex, the Fortnite, the Warzone, and you saved yourself $120 if that's the case. If that works for you.
Works for me to save a couple $100.
Hey,
that kid.
The other interesting thing, again, small little thing, but Xbox has also renamed. It's not going to be Xbox Live anymore. It's now going to be called Xbox Network. Ooh. It's just they're changing the platform from the Xbox Live Gold memberships. It's all going to be Xbox Network. They're trying to rebrand themselves basically. So we're still not sure yet 100% on which games will be compatible with the change. But there, you've got, like I said, you've got games like Apex, you've got games like Destiny 2, Warzone, and all these different games that are technically free to play if you have an Xbox Live account. Now, how will that affect if you don't need an Xbox Live account? That'll be interesting. So that is that. And the last... Sorry, go ahead.
Well, okay, so... All right, so I have Xbox Live, right? I've had it for ever. I've had Xbox Live for probably fucking 12 years, I think.
Sure.
And I have it set up where it's like the yearly renewal or whatever. Are they just gonna like not charge you for that anymore?
No. If you have an auto renewal, they will auto renew it. Because if you still want to play multiplayer games, you would need an account. You would need they're not calling it Xbox Live anymore. Xbox Network account.
Right.
It's just if you wanted to only play the free-to-play games, then you wouldn't need an account. Got it?
I guess.
So, for instance, you want to play Call of Duty. You want to play the multiplayer, not the Warzone, but the multiplayer of Call of Duty. You would need a account because that's online multiplayer versus Warzone, which should be free to play regardless if you own the game or not, and therefore should be free to play regardless if you have an Xbox Live account or not.
So, like World of Tanks is a free to play game.
Correct.
So that'd be PUBG same way.
Right. I thought you had to buy PUBG. I don't think it's free to play.
Maybe you did. I don't remember.
On Xbox, I think it's not free.
But it's on the now it's on the where you have the
Steam?
I have the subscription service too.
Oh yeah.
What's that called?
Oh, the Xbox Gold Pass or whatever it is. Game Pass.
Game Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass too.
So like if you're playing certain games on Game Pass, they might be free, but if you're playing other games on Game Pass, they might need an account.
That sounds dumb.
I mean, I see what they're trying to do,
but not to be a dick though. Like, kind of make it sound like just leave the fuck alone. Like, if you want to, how much is Xbox Live anyway? It's cheap as fuck.
Well, it used to be $60 a year, and now they're talking about doubling it, so it's going to be going up to $120 a year.
Still, not bad, dude.
I mean, that's 2 games in a year. Like that's the price of 2 games.
That's $10 a month, dude.
Yeah. Basically.
$10 a month.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Dude, fucking don't buy your wife tampons or some shit. Pay for your Xbox Live. I don't fucking know what to tell you. Like, sorry, sucks to suck quit being poor. Like, I don't know what the fuck you can't afford $10 a month and don't fuck play video games. You get a fucking job.
Oh,
right?
God.
I don't know what to tell you. Like, dude, I don't know. Sorry about it. Like, I get it, dude. Like, that shit does cost money. It costs them time to develop that shit. It costs them some money. It's $10 fucking a month.
You're crazy.
I'm not wrong, dude. It's $10 fucking bucks a month. It's like Jack in the Box tacos, dude. Yeah, they've been $2 for a fucking dollar forever. But if I were Jack in the Box and they were $2 for $1.25 because, like, well, you know, the fucking inflation. And, okay, yeah, I get it, dude. I'll give you $2 for 2 tacos or some shit. I don't fucking know what to tell you. Like, shit goes up in price over the fucking years, dude. Like, that just happens.
Yes.
Fucking
it's called inflation.
We don't say shit about it. Gas. I remember when gas was fucking 89 cents a gallon. So I didn't get a chance to lock in my price then. So I'm just saying.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you use your stimulus money. Redo your Xbox Live.
There you go.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Spend that fucking Biden cash. That's stimmy money. Fucking something, dude. I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like shit, that shit does it gets expensive.
Yes. Fair enough.
What? It's down to $250 on PS Plus now. Okay, well, make a better controller and I'll buy a PlayStation. I don't fucking know what to tell you. Like
burn.
$10 a month, dude. I blow $10 a month on so much dumb shit. Like, don't subscribe to to your neighbor girl's OnlyFans or some shit. I don't fucking know what to tell you, dude. Like, fucking prioritize. No,
I'm never letting go of her OnlyFans. That's not. That's not.
I don't know. Like, fucking dude, that's like 2 cases pop. You know what I mean? Like, not even. But it's like, it's 2 packs of smokes, man.
There you go.
No, it's a pack and a half of smokes.
Depending on where you're buying it, but yeah.
All
right.
You're at probably 1 pack of smokes. I don't fucking know.
New York, that's like 1 cigarette. Oh, here's another cool one. I got another breaking one. This is so Army of the Dead, the new Snyder movie coming out soon. We got the first official trailer. Check this out. Oh God.
Zombie tiger. Oh, I'm in, dude.
So obviously they're showing a lot more of what we I just try to wrap my head around this. You know, we're doing the whole like smarter zombies. They're smarter, faster, more lethal. All right. I mean, the whole point of zombies was that, you know, they're mindless and they don't care. Like, they don't care about dying because that's not a concern of theirs. So the idea of them working together is strange. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. You know me, I'm an optimistic person. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. Zack Snyder has a history, a hit or miss history when it comes to these epics, and it is a Netflix movie. Let's keep in mind, but they definitely threw a lot of money at this one. I mean,
dude, Netflix has been putting out some quality content.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue.
I mean, for yeah, I don't know. I'd say quality content. I mean, it's not MCU level content.
Right.
But it's pretty good.
There's a couple great comments in here. So Scott wants to know: is this part of the Snyderverse? Yes. In essence, it is part of the Snyderverse. I mean, it's came out of his brain. Captain Wayne says it's made out of broken hopes and dreams. So they're Marines. And Mike says they had me at Dave Bautista, and it's Snyder and it's free, so don't expect it to be great. But at least it isn't 4 hours of redid garbage. Okay,
that's true.
That's true. Someone's got some opinions.
New garbage.
Yeah, it'll be 2 hours and change of some colorful garbage. No, I like the people that they got in it. Like I said, Zack Snyder can make some really good stuff, and he can, you know, and he can make other stuff. So yeah. it's it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to say the least. I'm yeah. We'll see how it shapes up, man. I got my own opinions. All right.
What are your what is we got a couple minutes. What's
Yeah.
your honest opinion on it? Like, do you think it's gonna be decent? Yes or no? Is it worth? Is it gonna be worth watching?
One way or the other, I think it'll be worth watching. Either it's going to be like a great movie or it's just going to be a spectacular mess of a movie, and it might be worth watching, you
Like
know.
Snakes on a Plane,
Yeah.
but because it's got Samuel L. Jackson in it,
Yeah.
but it's snakes on a fucking plane.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so we'll see. So we'll see. Oh, and before we go to break, one more thing. We were talking last week about the Powerpuff Girls I mean, reboot. It's not a reboot. It's technically a sequel because it takes place after the original, but they're jumping from cartoon to live action, and it's a CW show. So I don't know what to call it. A reimagining of Powerpuff Girls, we'll call it. But we were talking about that. Let's see. I'll jump over to TV. TV news. So we were talking about the show. We got our first official look at our main characters. So check this out. This was officially released by the CW of Chloe Bennett, Dove Cameron, and Yana Perrault. So obviously Chloe is playing Blossom, and so they got these quick character descriptions. Though she was a spunky, Jesus Christ, I can never say that word. She was a spunky, little Miss Perfect child who holds several advanced degrees. Her repressed kitty superhero trauma has left her feeling anxious and reclusive, and she aims to become leader again, this time on her own terms. Dove is playing Bubbles, whose sweet girl disposition won America's hearts as a child. She still sparkles as an adult, but her charming exterior belies an unexpected toughness and wit. She's initially more interested in recapturing her fame than she is saving the world, but she just might surprise us and herself. And then Yana is playing Buttercup, who was the rebellious badass of the Powerpuff Girls in its heyday. More sensitive than her tough exterior suggests, Buttercup has spent her adulthood trying to shed her Powerpuff Girl identity and live an anonymous life. That's obviously, character descriptions for the new CW show. Now, while this is the official released CW imagery, for those that are wondering, will they nod at the original outfits? Will they take a nod? And I can show you a little behind the scenes photo. Check this out. That is them very much dressed like their childhood counterparts. So whether this takes place later in the show when they redon their outfits, or early in the show when they decide they're gonna hang it up, I don't know. But there you go. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I'm curious. I'm at the very least gonna say I'm curious to see how this show plays out, because CW's had a track record, right? Riverdale, Nancy Drew, Sabrina. What was the other ones that they brought back? Charmed. So they brought back some. God, you funny. They've brought back some shows with some decent, it's some decent acclaim. So I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know, dude. Of those shows that the CW has brought back,
Mm-hmm.
Saw on Radar, has not been a fan of them.
Of them. Have you watched any of them?
Yes, unfortunately I have. I have children, wow. And they all fucking suck. And I was not a fan of any of them. Okay. Fucking Riverdale makes me want to pull my fingernails out on my own. That show is fucking ridiculous, dude. Okay. I would rather fucking use gasoline for contact lens solution than watch those fucking shows.
Wow.
So, I mean, geared toward the right audience, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't see myself as being a fan of the Powderpuff Girls.
Power Puff.
Whatever,
Girls.
Power Puff, whatever, any of it. Don't give a shit.
Not powder. Power Puff.
It's the same fucking difference to me.
Fair enough.
Radar's kids will watch it, probably, yeah. And I won't watch it. Fuck that. No. Bye. I'll see you. They can watch whatever they want. They got a TV. Well, there's one kid of mine who doesn't have a TV in their own room or their own TV.
Right.
That's it. One of my children, and she just watches shit on her fucking iPad anyway. So
there you go.
Yeah, instead of a new TV, she wanted new iPods, whatever.
AirPods. We're not old. So all right.
I think
Last one before we go to break and prepare for our interview, our outstanding interview. She-Hulk, the show, one of the shows coming, has reportedly started filming. So basically, it's going to be the show. Tatiana Maslany is starring as the titular character. It's been in pre-production for it feels like forever, for months. Now, an official government website updated the status of the production. So basically, it's shooting in Georgia, and Georgia keeps track of like what films are actively shooting and doing all the things. And everybody loves to shoot in Georgia because, like, as far as Hollywood productions, it has huge lucrative tax credits, incentives, and all that stuff. So they love shooting there. So there's a site that keeps track of all the shows that are in production. And last week was not on the list. This week is under the section of now filming in Georgia. So we don't know much about the show. We still haven't gotten. We know that Tatiana Maslany is playing She-Hulk. We know Mark Ruffalo will appear as Bruce Banner. We know Tim Roth is bringing back the Abomination. Outside of that, we know nothing. We know that it's geared to be like a courthouse comedy style. So like part courtroom drama, part comedy. But we don't have a release date. We don't have any of the further information. So outside of that, yeah, we've got nothing. But that's the latest. So and literally, I think a week or two from now, they're also going to start shooting. Moon Knight is the next series to start going into production. So we're going to start getting these shows fast and heavy, right? We got Loki right around the corner. They're currently filming Miss Marvel and Hawkeye. We know She-Hulk's now in production, and Moon Knight will be as well. So these shows are going to be coming out fast and furious. The more that they're starting. So I'm excited for it. Black Widow also going to see it. So, all right, guys, we are going to take a short break. When we return, we will have the wonderful Matt DeMaris. I want to say DeMaris. Matt DeMaris from the
You're
Hustle.
just not good with the whole names.
I'm terrible with names. I should be better. Matt DeMaris from Hustle and Brews podcast will be joining us. So, guys, give us a few minutes. We'll set that up, and we will be right back. Shots. See you after the break.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
You got me staring out the window. 8 hours later, you're a no-show. I stood there in that middle of church with a bottle of gin in my hand. I'm looking up at the rooftop like I'm trying to find my long lost friend. My days turn to nights, my nights turn to weeks when you're living life on the road. I'm halfway back to New Orleans with a few more drinks to go. I said, tip 'em on back. Well, let's tip 'em on back. I finally made it back to Bourbon Street, picking some of them old night bars, hoping I could find myself playing music on my guitar. For the kid around, they all shouted out as the drinks began to flow. I pulled out that old guitar, then I showed them how to do-si-do. I said, tip 'em on back. Well, let's tip 'em on back. Church with a bottle of gin in my hand, looking up at the rooftop like I'm trying to find my long lost friend. Days turn to nights, my nights turn to weeks when you live a life on the road. Halfway back to New Orleans with a few more drinks to go. I said, tip 'em on back. Well, let's tip 'em on back.
Call the show now at 415-889-8367. The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey guys, what is up? We are back live. Pop Culture Warrior, episode 52. Super excited to talk with my guest today. It is Matt. Damn it! I had it. Hold on. I can do this. Matt DeMaris. That's it, right?
That's it, man.
All right, nailed it. All right, Matt DeMaris. You are from the Hustle and Brews podcast. God, man, there's so much. You fascinate me. I'm not gonna lie. I totally did a little digging. I looked around. I wanted to understand. I always like to know who my guest is and what they're all about. We don't have any connection. Usually, a lot of the people that I talk to, I've connected with online or different things. So I'm very fascinated to sit down with you and have this conversation. So first, welcome to the show. Thank you for being on.
Awesome, man. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for your service too. Appreciate it.
Oh my goodness! No one's ever thanked me for my service. This is the first. All right. So usually, first thing I always like to start out with is for the audience sake, we are obviously a military veteran themed podcast show, whatnot. What is your connection, affiliation, or other with the military?
Sure. So I'm not a veteran. However, my dad was a Vietnam vet. My wife was in the Army National Guard for about 5 years. So that's really my connection. Tons of cousins and family members that were in the military as well. So always grew up in a very patriotic house. And, that was it pretty much. I got tons of buddies that are too. And kind of the way I was tied in with the military with this fundraiser I do is I held an event with one of my buddies that's a Marine Corps veteran. And we came up with this idea and it's kind of just evolved and blown up lately.
Don't start jumping ahead, man. Don't stay late.
Oh,
I know
man.
you're a podcast guy, so it's so natural to start leading the conversation. Hey, sit back. You're my guest. You're my interview, man. I'm gonna need you to relax. Step off the gas, just let me.
Right,
I got this. No, seriously. So, where'd you like to talk about next? No. So okay. So, as far as I understand, you're in real estate, right?
Correct. Yep, I'm a real estate agent with Ownerland Realty in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, man. Oh my goodness, what a lovely part of the country. Uh,
Great here, man.
yeah, and I spent some time in Pennsylvania and in Maryland, bouncing around northeast guy. You know, I'm originally from New York. You know, I like the coffee and the water, and you know.
You're a stand-up, right? You're a stand-up.
I dabble.
We got the goat that lives about 45 minutes away from us.
Who's that?
Dave Chappelle.
Oh, Dave Chappelle lives in Cincinnati? Really?
Nah, he lives in Yellow Springs, Ohio, which is way out in the middle of the country. It's about 45 minutes north of Cincinnati. So
okay, all right. I did not know. I love Dave Chappelle. Yeah, I did not know that. What you drinking there? I see it on camera. I'm curious. What you drinking?
This is called Peso in My Hand. It's a Mexican lager by Fretboard Brewing Company. I could walk there in 5 minutes from my front door. So
fantastic. All right, so you're into real estate. I mean, again, I say if you fascinate me because you know you're into real estate. You're obviously into the brews. You're into the. I saw somewhere you called yourself like craft brew enthusiast, right? Is that right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
that's a great description.
You know, and then you got the vet charity thing and like. You're gonna have to paint me a picture, right? How did we get from you prior all to the to getting to where we are now? Because there's just so many different things in there that I'd like to learn about.
It's kind of crazy. So I was working in a corporate job. I had investment properties. I've always been really interested in real estate. My mentor, who is my manager now, kind of talked me into getting my license. At that point, I was kind of working on branding with with our marketing department, his wife, and she's like, "What do you like? Like you should base your branding around something you like." And I was like, "I like craft beer. I like going out and drinking beer." And she goes, "Okay, well, how can we tie that in?" And I said, I had a couple buddies that ran a brewery down the street, and I asked them if I could start doing real estate like workshops at the brewery, like maybe once a month, where we invited people in, we tried to raise money for a local charity. And I just talked about basic real estate stuff. And it started to catch on, and that kind of became my niche. And then probably about a year and a half into it, I was noticing like the same 20 or so people were showing up all the time. It was a lot of logistics to it in terms of planning it out, I was making menus up for each event. I was buying food and stuff like that. And honestly, I got kind of lucky in kind of bringing it to a halt because COVID happened shortly after I stopped doing in-brewery events. I thought a podcast would be just as much online exposure, because a lot of people wouldn't even show up. They say, "Hey, I see you're real busy on social media doing all these workshops." And I'd get donations and business that way. And I said, well, I'll just start doing a podcast. That way I can still go to the breweries. I can interview with people. It's not going to be as hard for me to set it all up. I don't have to worry about people coming. And it just kind of, evolved into that. Now, the way I got into the veterans is I was doing one last event, and my buddy was like, well, if we're going to do this, I want to have it involved with the military in some way. So we talked with a couple people that, military organizations, and they said, look, you don't really want to do events where you're saying, hey, this is how you can access your benefits and things like that. That a lot of people don't show up to those kind of things. You got to find a way to make it so military folks would want to show up. So what we did was we held an event called VET, Veteran Entrepreneur Tour. And what I did, because I love talking to business owners and hustlers, is I started contacting veterans that own their own business. And I said, hey, I'm going to throw this event at a brewery. All you got to do is show up with your, with your cards and maybe some of your product or something like that. And we'll invite veterans to come down and support you. All they got to do is come in and, grab your cards, talk with you, network, things like that. If they ever need you in the future, they can give you a call for whatever your service is. And the brewery ended up giving us about $1 per pint during the 3 or 4 hour event. It was a super large success for us. So we were like, man, this is awesome. And me and my buddy kind of thought about Vets and Brews while we were planning this whole thing out. We're like, because a lot of times I would call people for sponsorship for these events, and I'd say, hey, if you want to sponsor, buy a growler or a couple pints that I can give away. And they would do that. And on this one, I thought, well, why don't we just make up something where people can buy a veteran a beer while they're here, And I was like, that's easier because it's a small donation. It's only $10.
Right.
And then the remaining balance, we linked up with this nonprofit in Northern Kentucky called Operation Honor. So let's say we get a $10 donation. The beer costs $6, $4. The remaining balance of $4 goes towards Operation Honor. And what they do is they have veterans that handcraft the burial flag boxes for flags, and they are the #1 sole supplier to Arlington National Cemetery. And they're pretty small in Northern Kentucky, so when I can toss them $500, $600 at a time, it makes a pretty big difference. You know what I mean? Rather than going with one of these, national organizations that, get millions of dollars every year. So
sure,
that's kind of the whole process of everything, man. I mean, it's just been kind of a natural flow, and it's just been because I like drinking beer and talking to people, honestly.
That's awesome. That's so good to hear. I mean, that's, it mirrors a lot what we do here at the show, where it's just like, well, shit, I like nerdy stuff and I like talking to people. So, hey, let's just do that.
Yeah, man.
But no, that's awesome, being able to take your passion, and it's been interesting to see how it evolved from, just the realtor stuff to then the networking stuff to then the, what I mean? Like each step and iteration of the process.
Yeah.
What, okay, so you've been doing the podcast for how long now?
I've been doing it. I started last January, so it's been about 15 months. I try to do one once a month, but things happen. I think I'm on episode 13 will be the next one. So, I've had little breaks here and there. The guy that produces for me just moved, and all his equipment has been down. So,
Gotcha.
We've had a little bit of a break.
How can people find you? Where are you located at, as far as how can they get the podcast? How can they listen? How can they support?
Sure. So there's obviously a Facebook page. It's Hustle and Brews. And that's in the middle, not and. So HUSTLEN But then if you go, everything's on my Homes and Brews page. That's what I call those events at the breweries. So if you go to homesandbrews.com, you can find out about the podcast. You can find out about Vets and Brews and pretty much everything I'm doing. So
fantastic. That's awesome. So what all does the podcast kind of cover? I mean, is it specifically just the realty stuff, or does it cover a lot more?
No, I mean, there's not a lot of real estate in there unless I'm talking about, what I'm doing. I literally just find entrepreneurs that I think are interesting, and that they own a business somewhere. Most of the times I'm doing interviews with folks that are in Cincinnati, but I've done interviews with people in Austin, Texas, and other places, just like Zoom interviews. But I just find people that I think are interesting. It's like if I go to a bar and I'm sitting there, I talk to everybody. My wife's the kind of person that sits down and looks straight ahead and doesn't talk to anybody, but I'm trying to meet everybody in the bar. And she's like, man, you talk to everybody. And like, if I meet somebody that owns their own business, I'm just kind of drawn in and I start asking a ton of questions. So honestly, the podcast is just like me meeting somebody at a bar and just drilling them with questions. I mean, how'd you get started? You know what I mean? Like, were your parents entrepreneurs? Like, what caused you to do this? Like, and I just go into that. I want to learn about the journey from, how you got this idea to how you made it happen. And, most of those folks that start a small business, they've got a great story. You know what I mean? Most of them have to really dig in and hustle, and it doesn't matter what you're doing. You have to figure out a way to make it work, so, and it doesn't always end well for some folks. A lot of small businesses are struggling right now. So,
of course,
we just sit down and basically shoot the shit, man. I have a couple basic questions. I ask, what's your why? Like, what's your motivation? We talk about what we're drinking on. If I'm lucky enough to get the the head brewer or manager on with us, we'll talk about some of the beers that we're drinking on. And then I always ask for advice too inside the stories, but it's kind of free flowing, man. I just, whatever they say, I just kind of feed off of it and try to get conversations going. That's it.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool. No, that's so cool. And I think too, especially now, with everything going on with COVID and with, I mean, God, it's heartbreaking. You hear all, daycare shutting down and businesses shutting down, all these different things shutting down. So, a show like yours, a podcast like yours, where, even post all this, like, hey, are you still open? How did you beat it? How did you beat the pandemic? How did you stay open? I think that'll lead towards a lot of really interesting conversations, because so many businesses, so many practices have had to adjust how they're doing things, so I'm sure that would make for really entertaining, as far as how did you survive this monumental moment in kind of retail history, in the public history. We have a couple questions. So first one, is there a common thread amongst the veteran business owners, like similar reasons, types of jobs, etc.?
No, we've had a wide range of businesses, especially at that veteran entrepreneur tour, from a farmer to a guy that does powder coating, a guy that does home inspections. It's just all over the board, man. A guy and his wife make like treats for people that like vegan treats and stuff like that. And I mean, it's all over the place. So no, I just when I get talking to folks, and if they tell me they're a veteran and they own this business, or they're working for a business that's owned by a veteran. We had a dentist at one. I'm just like, okay, can I get your number? And next time we throw something, maybe you can come. And most of the time they're like, well, how much does it cost for us to be there? I was like, it doesn't cost anything. I just want you to show up.
Right.
I want you to tell all your friends, and we'll be able to support a small business in the local brewery that we're all hanging out at. We might be able to make some money for a nice nonprofit, and people just get together and network, man.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do, honestly. As long as you're willing to come and promote yourself.
Yeah,
it's like
a little like a mini festival you've put on. You can sample the wares, and you can gather the community and everything. That's so cool. We got one from Peter. Yo, what's your favorite beer?
Okay, that's a tough question, Peter.
Coming in with the haymakers, man.
Okay, so I'm gonna answer this with two different beers. I've had a longtime favorite here in Cincinnati. We have almost like 63 breweries in our general area. It's nuts. I haven't even been to all of them, but there's an OG in the game, a brewery called Listerman, and they have a beer called Nutcase. It's a chocolate peanut butter stout, and it's just delicious. But they're one of my favorite home court breweries that I go to most often, close to my house. I got some buddies that own a place in Loveland, Ohio. It's called Narrow Path Brewing Company. It's right by a bike trail, and they actually made a Vietnamese coffee porter and named it after me. So I've got to go with that one as well. So
nice.
my moniker on the podcast is the Cincy Brews Traveler. So they named the brew the Brews Traveler, and they have like chalk art for all the beers, and they put a picture of me playing a harmonica, kind of like John Popper.
Yeah. I like it.
I can't. It's one of my favorites too. It's delicious, man. So, but it depends on what kind of mood I'm in. You know what I mean?
Right.
I like all kinds of beers, but usually like coffee stouts are my thing.
Okay. All right. We're gonna have to connect offline, man. I'm gonna have to get some recommendations. I gotta up my game. All right. I've been slacking. I'm going corporate. I need to learn. I need to get in there and learn more.
I can send you some beers, man.
Oh, sure. You gotta tell me. Tell me twice. Shit. All right. Let's see what else we got here. In your area, where do you see vacancies or needs? What types of businesses would be a good start for building entrepreneurs?
That's a really tough question, man. Especially in this environment right now. I know that there's a lot of food industry jobs, like restaurants and stuff, that are hurting. I've seen a lot of those close down, but that'd be a really tough type of business to start at this point. One thing I've seen, pick up is with these breweries is the governor's allowing to-go beers and things like that now, and breweries are starting to deliver. That's starting to be huge in helping these guys when COVID first came around. You know what I mean? They didn't have to do the in-person it's like contactless. But in terms of other industries, you know, I'm not sure if I can think of many businesses that have started up recently, you know, in this environment. It seems like everybody, like you said, everyone's pivoting and, you know, adjusting to make what they have work. I have seen a couple restaurants pop up that are unique, but
yeah,
I don't know where the void is, honestly.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's a hard thing because I know a lot of, you know, businesses are doing either like remote telework stuff.
Yep.
You know, if you own a food truck, how do you do a contactless, you know, food truck? That's not going to be easy. So yeah,
I'll tell you what, actually, so trades, you know, being a real estate agent and a landlord, I'm telling you, all the trades are booked out a month or two right now. So carpenters, painters, you know, all kinds of things like that, like plumbers, electricians. Those things are hard to find, and they're so overworked right now that they can't even get to most situations for 4 or 5 weeks. So I think you know, if you're already in the trades, maybe starting up your own business and branching out would be a good way to go. Or if you're, you know, I'm too old to start doing trade work, but, you know, if I was 21, I'd be in the trade industry, like learning and, you know, trying to get on with a good organization and soaking up all the information I could so I could branch out on my own at some point, because those guys are going to be in high demand for a long time, and they're probably going to start getting paid a lot more because there's such a need for that right now, and it's just going to get worse as time goes on.
Right on, man. That's I like that. I've been trying to call the people that cut my grass and like fertilize my grass. I'm too busted to do that shit anymore. But I can't get them on the phone. It's busy signal. It's impossible, man. So I know they're busy. Mike from the chat says, do you do a lot with veteran brewed beers? Is that a question?
So I do. Yeah, actually I do. And I think one of the veteran-owned breweries that I'm doing an event on the 24th, which is a Saturday from noon to 3. And basically it's just going to be Vets and Brews at Rebel Metal Brewing. And that's a veteran-owned brewery here in Cincinnati. They're one of the newest breweries. And I think they're going to be on one show on WTF Nation Radio here in like another week or so. His guy's name's Mike Brown. He's a real cool guy. And I work with them a lot. They're actually the first brewery to kind of put Vets and Brews on. And what we did was I have an online where you can donate online if you go to the Homes and Brews page. But I put little table tents out at their brewery that has a QR code that'll lead you right to the donate page. It tells about Vets and Brews. On the other side, it tells about Operation Honor. But we also took some of the flag boxes and we created donation boxes out of them. So there's a little hole in the top where people can drop money in. Nice. And then they do the same thing on their credit card slips. They say, hey, would you like to donate to Vets and Brews? So they've raised a ton of money. I mean, we've probably given away 150 brews, pints of beer at that brewery in the last couple months. It's been crazy. So, but it's easy for them because they can identify veterans. That's the hardest thing about what I do is when I go out, it's hard for me to find a veteran unless they have a hat on or I recognize a tattoo or something like that. It's hard for me unless I'm just walking around the tables, and people don't want you doing that during COVID. You know what I mean? Like, hey man, you're a veteran. Some people are like, why are you asking anyway? But you know, I get these places that participate, and you know, when people stuff a bunch of money in there, then I can just give free donated beers to them, and they have actually what's called an honor wall down there. So any veteran that comes in gets to sign the wall, you know, what years they served and, you know, what branch they were in and things like that. That's so awesome. When the veterans see that, they're like, hey, man, I want to sign. And they know right away they're a vet, so they can go ahead and say, hey, when they come back and give the pin back, they're like, hey, we got a pint for you, man. Donated from Vets and Brews. And on the back, I got these little cards that, like the Vets and Brews card, when they hand out a beer, they give them this tiny little business card. It has my information as a real estate agent on the front. I have a VA team that I work with to try to help veterans if they're wanting to buy a home or sell a home. And then on the back, it says, thank you for your service. And the people that donate have the option to put their name and city where they're from. So this beer was donated from John in Columbus or something like that. You know what I mean? And we get donations from everywhere. So that's a brewery, Rebel Metal. That's a veteran-owned brewery. Another one is Alexandria Brewing Company in Alexandria, Kentucky. They're veteran-owned. We also have a veteran co-owned brewery in Mason called 16 Lots. Dell Hall is a veteran that is part owner of that. And then another one is called March 1st in Blue Ash that's partially veteran owned. So I know of 4 just in Cincinnati, and there honestly might be more. I just haven't found out yet. I think as the word spreads, I'll probably be, getting hip to more that have veteran owned. So
Sure, no, that's awesome, man. And obviously, you haven't been doing this long, but do you see growth potential? Do you see like, okay, this is where I want to take this. This is the next level. This is how we're gonna expand. Or is it just kind of like, you know what, this is enough for now? I mean, where do you see the future going?
Well, I think this could go nationwide, honestly. I mean, the goal would be to hand a free brew out to every veteran in the country at some point. I mean, there's breweries everywhere now. I mean, you find them out in the middle of a field in Ohio now, So, I mean, if I could start linking up with more people, and I got to learn how to scale this, though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm real young at this point in the game, and there's been some speed bumps that I've had to work out. And but yeah, I think why not, man? Go all over the place. I mean, if somebody's willing to, put a box in their brewery and, hand out some free beers, it's illegal for a brewery to hand out free beer. They can't do it. In this case, they're handing out a donated beer. I'm paying the brewery full price for their beer. Yeah. So, they're making money on this. And one of the things that Dell said from 16 Lots, he's like, man, a lot of people come up here and, ask for like contributions or ask me to get involved in things. They're always asking for something. He goes, you're the first guy that's come up and just been like, look, I'm going to buy beers from you at full price, and I want you to hand them out to veterans. He goes, man, this is the best thing ever because, nothing's coming out for us. This is a win-win situation. So, I mean, I think it's just a matter of spreading the word and, me getting a team behind me that can help me scale it because I'm more of an idea person and a talker, man. Like I think I talked myself into an idea that has a lot of potential here. I just got to figure out how we're going to make this thing grow and, be manageable.
Oh, it's awesome. I love the idea. And yeah, I'm kind of like you in that I've got all these great ideas. I don't know how to do any of them, but they would be awesome if I could find the right people. They'd be awesome ideas.
Yeah.
But no, that's very cool. I mean, obviously, you keep doing what you're doing and you keep on that path. Who knows? You meet that right entrepreneur and you have that right how I started on this station is because they had me on as a guest, as a comedian, and next thing I know, I've got a show here. So shit happens. Awesome. You never know how things happen when you talk to the right people. But no, I really do love what you're doing, man. It's such a cool thing. Has there been any like so speaking about the podcast, just any moments that like, man, if you're gonna watch one moment or if you're gonna listen to one episode or one part, you got to hear this part. Like, what's been that one for you so far?
Man, there's been a lot. So I'd say if you're going to listen to one, it's the episode with Emmett Ridge Farm. That's my most downloaded episode. And that's a Marine Corps veteran. And he drops all kinds of bombs on you, man. Just good quality information. And he's an inspirational guy. His name's Jeremy Boswell. He's a good friend of mine now. But, one thing I can say, I don't know of the certain moment. Like there's a lot of times where after these interviews, I get done and I'm just pumped up. Like I can't wait to get them edited and then get them out because like, man, everything was so good. But one thing that my wife and I, because she co-hosted with me, and the one thing we've noticed is all of the advice is kind of the same. You know what I mean? Like you hear about a lot of lessons that everyone's gone through that are similar in some ways, and in some cases it's almost word for word what they're saying, and it kind of that blows my mind. I mean, one of the main reasons I started a podcast is because I've just always been a hustler. I've always wanted to work for myself, and I've been kind of learning on my own. So I feel like this podcast is a way for me to leave a recorded legacy for my kids to kind of refer to, you know what I mean? Kind of on some Gary V shit. I don't know if you listen to Gary V, But I picture my kids and my grandkids listening back to these and getting, great information from all these different entrepreneurs that are doing different things and kind of taking out the stuff that's the most useful. So, I mean, it's all pretty great to me. Even some of the slower interviews, they're still dropping knowledge on you that, maybe you haven't thought about. To me, it's the inspiration. It's the guys that are like, I'm just going to do this. You can't stop me. Someone else might be interested in like the type of business that someone started. Like, how did you get into that? Everyone takes different things away, but Jeremy was Emmett Ridge Farm. I think it's episode 3 or 4. That's a really good one. Plus he's a Marine. So, I know a lot of your listeners would like hearing from him, and he's a local guy that he had a really good job, and he was a country boy, and he started farming at his house, and he started growing food, and he got cows and all this stuff, chickens. And now he's got a distribution where he bought a golf course, turned it back into a farm, and he delivers. I get meat from him, 20 pounds of meat from a farm. It's fresh, it's farm raised food, 20 pounds of meat every month. It shows up at my door, you know what I mean? Frozen. And that's my supply. And that's what he does, man. He's got an awesome mission going on. And I mean, he's a great dude to listen to. He's inspirational, man.
Fantastic.
He's probably gonna call me up and be like, dude, listen to you. What are you doing?
That's what we do. We call people out. We got one comment in from Tim. I'm from Oregon. I support and back what you're trying to do. Would you be interested in getting liaisons, so to speak, from other states? He's a retired vet, 8 years, and loves your idea.
Yeah, so that's actually something we're working on. So I was talking with Operation Honor. We've talked about having maybe like a 1-page handout that describes how the program works, and we're putting that together. So that would be something where, if you heard about it and you wanted to spread the word, maybe to your local brewery that you go to all the time, we are going to have something like that for you. So once that's ready, we'll be promoting it. If he follows us on Facebook, once it's out there, we'll let you know. Or, I mean, right now, if you just go talk to your head brewer somewhere that you sit down and belly up to the bar with all the time, if you know him real well, just say, hey, look at this dude on Facebook, shoot him a message, man. I'll try to figure it out now.
So they start laying the groundwork, right? Start greasing the wheel, like, hey, man, there's this thing that could happen. I mean, would you be interested,
And then Tim gets a free beer one of these times.
There you go.
We've got some donations together, man.
Right on. There you go, Tim. Tim in the chats. Follow the Facebook page, stay in touch, start talking to your local beer people, and we'll get you going. So, oh man, it's so many questions because there's so, like, you're into so many different things. Yeah, a little bit like myself. I'm into so many things, so it's hard to sometimes hone in on one. But obviously, you're into real estate. General advice for anyone that's interested right now in buying, selling a home. Do you have any good veteran real estate advice?
Really, it's for anyone in this market. This market is crazy. Cincinnati is, I mean, we have the lowest inventory in history right now. Houses are flying off the market. If you have a house that you've thought about selling at any point, now is the time to do it. If you're buying, be prepared to look for a while because, like I said, there's a low inventory. So when you go out there, you're fighting with everybody over these houses. So, I have buyers that I'll be helping for 6 months, sometimes a year. So every now and again we get lucky and we buy one quick, but you just have to be patient. You got to know what you want, and when it pops up, you got to move quick, and you got to be aggressive on your contracts and your bids and your terms and stuff. So, and getting a good real estate agent always helps too. So if you're in Cincinnati, Dayton area, give me a holler.
Hey, plug away, man.
And if you're not, I can refer you to people too.
That's good. Yeah. Because I know, like, I just refinanced because, like, rates were at historic.
Rates are nuts.
Yeah, they were crazy low, and it sometimes it boggles my mind how things work, because you get this, like, I got a rate for my house, but now I have people like calling me like, hey, we want to give you less on your payments, and it's like, how does this work as a business? They're fighting over. We can charge you less. How does this work? How do you make money doing this? But
I mean, still, if somebody's making, even if they're making 3% on a 30-year loan, they're making a ton of cash.
They're making
you know what I mean? They're looking at the end game on that thing, you know. So there's always money to be had in real estate.
No, that's.
And I remember I used to do mortgages in the '90s, like the late '90s, and I remember we would be real excited to refinance somebody at 7.5%, 7.25%. You know, I'd run into people that had 14% mortgage rates, and I'm like, now I'm thinking like that's just nuts, because I've had clients recently under 3%. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in our area, I know it got down to as low as 1.75 in my area.
Holy
it was
cow.
Yeah, that's a big. I think unfortunately I didn't get it that low. I got it at 2, but they were telling me. Yeah, they were like, oh, let's see, over 30 years, you just saved yourself $112,000. I was like, what? Jesus Christ, what?
Right.
That's insanity.
Okay. Where do I sign?
That's insanity.
And I mean, when I was working my corporate job, I felt like, you know, I had a good job, and I was working downtown, nice office and stuff like that, but I just felt like I wasn't doing anything that I wanted to do. You know what I mean? I wasn't passionate about that job, and it took me a while to take that leap, and I love real estate for the fact that I'm helping folks out. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how long their journey is. If it takes them a week to find a house, or if it takes them a year and a half, they're super excited because they found the one. You know what I mean? And you've been with them on that journey, and it's like it's a genuine, you know, it's a genuine thank you at the end of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't think I'll ever go back, man. I love what I'm doing. That's why when I do the podcast, it's really just for fun. I don't make any money off the podcast. You know, it's just something that I enjoy. And then if I can raise some money for a veteran organization while I'm out here drinking beers, talking to people, like, why wouldn't I do that? You know what I mean? Awesome. Vets love it when they get these beers donated. They're like, sure. And that's who spreads the words, man. You know, when a vet gets a beer, all of a sudden
they tell everybody.
Dude, they tell everybody, and I'll get a donation from like Jacksonville, Florida, all of a sudden, and then way up in Maine and Michigan, and I'm like, where are these coming from? You know what I mean? So I know that that's the folks spreading the word. So it's really cool, man, to see that, and you know. It's like, hey, man, they're like, thanks so much. And I'm like, I didn't buy it. I'm just the deliverer, man. Yeah. Here's this is from this guy and wherever. So it's a fun thing to do, honestly.
That's so cool. I mean, it's kind of what you're doing already. If you look big picture as a realtor, it's like you're not buying them the house. You're just guiding them to the house that they want to buy. You're not buying the beer. You're just guiding the guy to the person to buy the beer. You know, you're doing it.
Yeah. I don't sell houses, man. The houses sell themselves. I just show you. Yeah. And I make sure that you get the best deal that you can on them. So
right on.
It's awesome.
So I get the sense, you know, you are that go-getter. You are that idea guy. You're the guy that like, why not? Right? Like that's the thing. What advice would you give there? You know, we've got 40, 50 something people listening in live right now. God knows how many people watching the replay, listening to the podcast. What is your advice for that person that maybe that doesn't really like, they have that idea or they have that thought or they have that, I want to do this thing, but maybe they're unsure. Maybe, you know what I mean? They need a little bit of what you got. Sure. What's your advice? How do you share some of what you got for those people?
My biggest advice would be just do it, honestly. You know, like whatever it takes. Like if you're thinking about it to the point where it's never leaving your head, you know what I mean? It's something that you're putting tons of time in after you get off work, and it's like this idea that you're curating and you know, try to fine tune. A lot of people will do analysis paralysis, where all they do is analyze an idea and analyze it, and they never actually do it. And I've been guilty of that myself. I mean, it was like 10 years between buying my first rental property and my second rental property, and now I have 5 since I've got the second one. And it's like, I wish I would have just done it quicker. I wish I wouldn't have thought about it so much or felt like, you know, everything had to be perfect before I took that final step to actually make it happen. So my advice is just go. Like if you got it, don't regret it in 10 years because you never took that step. You know what I mean? Go ahead and, you know, throw it in, man. See what you got. See if it works. I mean, it might not. It might. I've done so much crap, man. My wife's like, you're always thinking about stuff, like all these ideas, and I'll give them a shot. I'm not scared, you know. And if something catches on, it catches on. But if you're passionate about it, you can figure it out. Start talking to people that have done it before you. Most of the time, you're not doing something that's 100% unique. So there's you know, you can go out online and find all that information. Just don't be afraid. Just go. You know what I mean? You get that idea, make it happen no matter what. At least give it a shot.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's so true. I'm a big believer in, like, worst thing that can happen is nothing, right? Worst thing is you can try something and nothing comes of it. I mean, it is what it is. I heard a really great quote once where it was like something about the fear of the unknown isn't as bitter or isn't as painful as like the pain of regret, something like that, where you know, regretting that you didn't do something versus, you know, being scared that, like, oh, what if it doesn't work out? A funny tidbit is we designed this show. It was going to be a pop culture show. They said, could you really talk about Marvel stuff and all this stuff every week in and out? I said, oh my God, there's news every day comes out. Right. We launch in February. March, pandemic shuts everything down. I'm like, all right, cool. Now I get to do a weekly show where I talk about how nothing's happening. Cool. This is going to be fun.
My favorite saying that I always use, and I tell my kids this all the time, is I'm going to fail my way to success. So, you know, I get them lumps you take along the way. They kind of, you know, they condition you to do better. So you learn from the mistakes and you make whatever idea you have better. So I've failed at a lot of things in my life, man, and I think it's just helped me learn along the way what not to do or, you know, what to avoid. And that's my saying, man. I'm gonna fail my way to success.
You learn more from your failures than you ever do from your successes. I mean, successes are nice, they feel great, and it's awesome when things work out, but you're gonna learn 10 times as much from failing. I mean, it's how we evolve, right? We're toddlers, we fall down a lot. You learn to walk, you know, we fall down a lot, you learn to run. So that's awesome, man. All right, well, I mean, shit, time is flying. We're kind of this has been such a great conversation, man. I feel like we're old friends. We're all drinking buddies, man. But so before, is there anything you want to touch on before we go? Have I missed anything vital? Anything you want to share with the audience?
I think this has been great, man. I mean, I think if people want to get kind of get in touch with me and start following me, you know, you can go online. thehomesandbrews.com is my main place. But if you look for me, like, as a realtor on Facebook and like YouTube, it's under Matt Sells Cincy, MattSellsCincy. And that's it. Just follow those things. I mean, if you want to make a donation, that'd be great. Buy a vet of beer somewhere or spread the word, like Tim was saying. That'd be awesome too. Yeah. I never know what's going to happen from stuff like this. You know what I mean? I just think it's cool that somebody wanted to talk about it for a while. You know what I mean? So
you're doing a great thing.
Too.
Yes, guys.
The next episode is my wife interviewing me. So she was like, "I'm sick of you interviewing people. We want to learn how your hustle went." So the one coming out in the next couple of weeks is going to be her interviewing me. So I think that's kind of cool. Dude, I'm a little nervous about it.
I'm telling you what, I might steal that idea. I like that. I've done so many interviews, but I like that.
No one's
man.
ever interviewed you, huh?
Well, no, I'm not gonna lie. I've been interviewed, but having my wife do it, that's something. You are a brave man, because that's something that would kind of scare me. To have, you know, the person that knows you the best, you know, start asking questions. But I like that, man.
She co-hosts with me on the podcast. It only made sense, you know.
Yeah,
so
that's good, man.
I thought one of my buddies said, "Man, we want to hear about you." So yeah, it happened. So
I like it. Oh, man, I'm gonna tune in, guys. If you're out there, I mean, Matt. I mean, come on, the guy. I'm motivated just talking to you. I now want to go. Awesome. I want to go build something. I'm gonna find I don't know. I'm gonna fix something. you know, something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do something. You know, we've been getting a lot of positive feedback in the chats. Like a lot of people saying, you know, this is awesome. Uh, some people making fun of my wife. Okay, cool. We'll skip past that. I told you, man, this is like CQ roast hour. But no, man, Matt, this has been absolutely awesome. Once again, guys, check out the podcast, Hustle and Brews, right? You know, follow him on Facebook, follow him on the social medias. Guys, if you can spare a few dollars, buy a vet a brew, right? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Vets and brews. Let's all, I tell you what, I'm going to get on there. I'm going to buy a fellow vet somewhere out there a drink. I hope that all of you guys will as well. And that, you know, whatever we can do to support you. And I want to see this nationwide. You know what I mean? I want not necessarily that I want somebody to buy me a beer, but I want to see, you know, more veterans out there being able to get acknowledged, and just something as simple as a beer. I remember that's
an easy way to say thank you.
Yes, absolutely. I've once in my life I had a situation where I was sitting down eating, and I had, you know, had my little army hat on, whatever, and somebody, the waitress came over and said, "Hey, the bill's covered," and I was just floored that somebody had bought my dinner. And it's an amazing feeling. So what you're doing is
I've
definitely
done that a couple times, man. That's cool seeing somebody do that.
Yeah. It's such a cool feeling, man. You know, it's because something as simple as like, oh, thank you for your service. It's a very awkward thing. It's a very uncomfortable thing. But like, hey, let me get you a beer is, bro, like, we're best friends now. Like, did you just become best friends? You know? So no, this is what you're doing is an awesome thing, man. And I'm
thanks, brother.
Blessed to know you. And I will definitely, I'm going to go buy somebody a beer, because this is an awesome thing. All right, guys, we are going to take a short break. And when we come back, we'll have more show. Matt, let's talk offline. We're going to talk offline, guys. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Again,
yeah. All right. Shots, guys.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
You got me staring out the window, 8 hours late and you're a no-show.
voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, everybody, we are back. Oh, man, that was so good. I had to go do some push-ups, man. I was so fucking hyped. I was so motivated. I had to go do some push-ups to make sure that, like, you know, we're good. Yeah, Radar. We'd love...
turn my video back on. You see me now?
We'd love to see that pretty face of yours.
That's bullshit. I don't want to see that. That's why I got a little bitty hole in the corner, dude.
There
I
you
get
go.
it.
There he is. There he is. Radar's back. What up? Radar's my dude. So what'd you think, man? What'd you think about Matt?
Matt is fuck great, dude. I'm a fan. It's fucking genius.
Yeah.
Like when you think about it,
Simple.
that's so fucking smart, dude.
Simple but
Like,
genius.
And like you said, like just fucking yeah, get a beer with somebody. It's like yeah. I can't think of how many chicks in my life I've been like, I don't know how to talk to this girl. Hey, can I buy you a beer? You know what I mean? Like, oh, dude, seriously.
There you go.
That's genius. It's fucking genius. And yeah, like if we can buy everybody in the world a beer, I love it, dude.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's such a cool thing, man. It's such a cool thing. I'm happy. We were talking amongst the three of us in private behind the scenes, and like, man, we want to do more. We want to figure out ways that we can make this thing, you know, happen, you know, big,
right.
You know. So stay tuned, fellow listeners. You know, we got there's more in store down the line. So, although let me ask you, what'd you think of the what if my wife interviewed me on show?
You want your wife to interview you?
What if we had our wives interview us?
Oh no, it's a horrible idea. I mean, maybe for you and your wife, I can't even imagine what I want. I don't think I want my wife interviewing me on here. I mean, I don't know. I think it'd be, for my wife, probably be tough to get her in front of the camera. If you could do it off the camera.
Yeah. What if we used to do interviews no camera, so we do like a call-in. We do like a call-in interview. Yeah.
Well, man, I don't want to hang up on my wife. No, I'm just kidding.
Like, damn it, I'm gonna have to mute my wife.
That'd be fun, maybe. I don't know, because it's not that I don't trust my wife. It's that one of her favorite things to do is bust my balls. So might not be good. It might be great. I don't know.
I got one question in the chats here from Peter, and I'm gonna do one question for Radar. Why is he wearing his wife's glasses?
I'm wearing my own glasses.
They do seem just a tad bit effeminate. Effeminate. They just a tad, just maybe a smidgen.
Well, these are okay. These are my home glasses.
They're not your cool glasses. Yeah, they're just like your lounge around.
Yeah, I have my night. I normally wear contacts. But with having the Rona, I haven't wanted to put my fingers in my fucking eyeballs.
Sure.
Right.
In case you get super Rona? That was that.
Yeah, I don't know. Or more of an infection or
eyeball Rona.
Eye Rona. That'd be even fucking worse. Yeah,
eye Sharona.
I don't know. But anyway, so I've been wearing my glasses. And I've been lounging around my house for like a week, dude. I haven't even left my house really. So, I mean, why the fuck should I'm not going to get all dressed up for you. I'm in a fucking hoodie in my basement. Like, I don't know what you want. I have real pants on, dude. I don't even know why that matters, because I'm like, you can only see like my nipples up.
I cannot see your nipples. I'm sorry, but I cannot see your nipples. Don't do that. All right. Well, before we wrap up, we'll cover two more quick things. Let's switch over. TV news. So this is kind of a continuing conversation. We've talked many times about my theory that Netflix is it's kind of like that animal that's backed into the corner and lashing out violently, right? Like they're buying up as much as they can. They're like green lighting everything. Like, hey, if it's you know, it's got a name attached to it. Green light, like we'll buy it. Well, we want it. Like they're trying to snatch up as much stuff as they can because so many studios are pulling their stuff back. So, in the latest, Netflix has acquired Sony movie streaming rights. So a new agreement has been struck between Netflix and Sony Pictures in which the streamer has gained first access to the studio's upcoming theatrical releases, starting with the 2022 films. So previously, Starz, the network Starz, has been home to a lot of these highly anticipated titles, with Netflix now being the first home for future installments. So things like Spider-Man, the series, Venom series, Jumanji's, all these new franchises that are kind of starting to get rolling will be first exclusive to Netflix after their theatrical run. The deal gives Netflix an 18-month exclusive window for these titles. And it starts with the release of Morbius, which is in January of 2022. So a movie like Morbius will go from theaters, and whenever it does its, because, first, pre-corona, it was in theaters for X amount of time. Then there's a break. Then it would go straight to like DVD, home streaming. But now it'll be like released on DVD, and then the first streaming platform it'll hit is Netflix for the first 18 months before it can go anywhere else. That's a huge that's a huge win for Netflix. That is a huge win. Sony makes a lot of stuff.
Well, and here's what I'm kind of curious about, and I don't know the numbers on these things. Sure. I don't. But obviously somebody makes money off these streaming services, right? And we kind of talked about this back and forth a little bit.
Yeah.
But okay, when it's starting to get to a point where all these streaming services that are coming out, it's almost going to like revert back to buying cable again, right? So, I mean, I really think that having 400 fucking streaming services kind of dilutes the market, right? If you have, say, the big ones, if someone like Sony right now gets a hold and it's cheaper for them or easier for them to just kind of make a little bit of commission, so to say, off Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever, I'm sure there's some sort of bidding war for the rights to these.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's cheaper and easier than starting their own streaming service.
For sure.
Right. So they're still making some money off it. It's kind of like if you own a farm or you own something, is it cheaper to lease it out or to farm it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I almost think that this is kind of the way. This is a better way than this is Paramount Plus, and here's the HBO Max, and here's the
Sony does. But who's to say 1 year from now when Sony's like, Sony unveils its new streaming service, all those things get pulled right back, Possibly,
but I'm sure there's got to be some sort of clause in the contract.
Oh, well,
and I know Disney had some problems with that too when they first started Disney Plus. That some of the movies they couldn't bring out on Disney Plus because they were still earmarked for Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever.
Infinity
so
War
I think
and things like that,
I really think that I don't see Netflix going anywhere for a while. I know that you see the writing on the wall for their demise. I just don't see it. I really don't. I feel like in a head-to-head competition. And actually right now with me, okay, if you said to me, Radar, you have $15, you can have Disney Plus or you can have Netflix. Which one are you going to pick? I'm picking Netflix still.
Of course.
Because I do like the Marvel's content. I do like some of the other stuff that's on Disney Plus. All in all, if I could only pick one, I'm still picking Netflix.
Yeah. I get it. You
know what I mean?
I get it.
So
the analogy would be if I said, hey, you can buy a $10 meal or you can have $10 to go to this buffet. You know what I mean? You're going to be like, well, the buffet, I got more options. I can eat as much as I want. Whereas I get a meal, it's just a meal. That's my Falcon and Winter Soldier is my meal. Whereas Netflix is my buffet. I get it.
Right.
And admittedly, I'm not a big enough man, or I am a big enough man to admit that I have to backstep a bit and say that okay, maybe Netflix can bounce back. And again, when I made those comments, this was pre-COVID, because who knew streaming was going to be so vital. And then B, I didn't expect them to start buying up every property. And with all the streaming services announcing their own streaming service, I didn't think there was any companies left for them to negotiate with. Hey, I was wrong. Sony. Right. They found Sony.
But even without, I think if things went the way they went, without COVID, okay, I really feel as though Netflix has put out some quality content on their own.
Sure.
They've got with Dave Chappelle. It's a big one. You know what I mean? Like they've got some big names working for them and working with them and some exclusive rights stuff. And this is even before before Rona. Yeah. I don't think, they might have had to tighten their belts a little bit and maybe had to run for their money, but I really think between them, okay, I think Hulu probably has the most to lose right now in this breath, because there are, NBC with the Peacock and all of their shit. I think Hulu is probably the one that is at the biggest risk of going under of between Amazon, Netflix, and Hulu. Amazon just has too much fucking power behind it.
Yeah. Yeah, but Amazon the Prime Video is one small facet of its empire. Yep. The same way Disney Plus is one small facet of the whole Disney empire.
God, but right now Disney Plus is fucking carrying.
Yeah,
Disney.
They exactly.
I know.
No one saw that coming.
Parks back open. I'm not an investor and I'm not a numbers guy, but I'm kind of curious. I don't think they're hemorrhaging the money they were a year ago at this time, where they didn't have.
No, they're doing a lot better. They're doing a lot better.
They have to be, because this time last year we were like, is fucking Disney going broke?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
They were talking about like selling out to like Apple or something like that, Apple owning Disney. Like it was crazy, man. Crazy times we live in. Scott says the DC Universe stuff. At least the shows and movies did get consolidated under HBO Max. Yep, it would be nice to only need 2 to 5 different subscriptions instead of 6+.
You know what? And I agree with that, and that's why I don't have HBO Max.
Yeah,
I have the HBO add-on or whatever on my Prime, and I get access to everything that I want to watch on HBO.
Is Disney Universe still a thing? I know they came out with a streaming service where you could, but it was different in the sense that you could stream any of like the DC Universe stuff, so like the cartoons, the movies, whatever. But then you could also use that same service to like read the comic books, which was pretty cool, admittedly. Because you can be like, you're watching this episode of whatever, or you're watching, the Snyder Cut. You're like, oh, there's a reference to this. You could then, like, in that same app, like, jump over to the comic book section and then start, like, cross-referencing and be like, oh, yeah, in issue 75, he said blah, 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 blah. So you could do that. That was pretty cool. But, yeah, I don't even know if the Disney Universe app is still a thing, or if they just sent everything over to HBO Max. But anyway, one other thing about that deal is that the deal also means that Netflix has a first look agreement for any films that Sony develop direct to streaming. So anything that Sony makes outside of a theatrical release, Netflix has the first look agreement. And the deal requires that Netflix commit to a certain number of titles from the studio, but it doesn't stop Sony from selling direct to streaming titles to Netflix's rivals. So it means Sony says, we're going to make we're going to make the CQ story direct to streaming. Netflix would have the right of refusal first. They'll look at it. They'll say, okay, we don't like it. If they don't buy it, Sony is allowed to sell to their rivals. So they could sell to Amazon Prime. They could sell to whoever. It allows them to still have that flexibility. And the last piece is that Netflix will license an unspecified number of older titles from the Sony's movie vault. That means even things right now are eligible if they license them to go into the Netflix queue. So that means like Spider-Man Homecoming would, if they licensed it, if they got the stamp from Sony, could license it and bring it back to Netflix where it would be exclusive to Netflix there.
Okay.
So it's interesting. But
it's not a bad gig, though. I don't think it's a horrible deal for either party.
Right, honestly. I agree. It allows Sony a certain amount of freedom to not worry so much about the streaming stuff and where they're going to put their stuff. It gives them a seller, basically a direct seller for their streaming movies. If they don't go theatricals, it's a win-win for both of them, in my opinion. The last quick story we'll talk about is NBC Universal, the company, is considering pulling their movies, is the opposite of what we just talked about, from Netflix. So NBC Universal is considering pulling their movies out from Netflix. So Comcast, which is the main owner of NBC Universal, is considering removing its NBC Universal films from all streaming platforms, including Netflix, and keeping the upcoming releases for its own Peacock service. So this is exactly what I was talking about, where my concern was that all these companies releasing their own streaming service, they're going to not want it to be on Netflix. They're going to want it to be on their own subscription service. So in essence, what this could mean is if you want to see, Fantastic Furious 9 when it comes out, it would stream exclusively on Peacock instead of heading to HBO Max, instead of heading to Netflix and all these other places. You'd have to get Peacock to be able to watch that. Currently, Universal has an output deal with HBO Max that gives HBO Max, the streamer, right to show new Universal Pictures movies about 9 months after they leave theaters. So you would have a movie from NBC Universal leave theaters and then go to HBO Max. That's part of their deal. Same way Netflix has the deal with Sony. But that's what I'm saying. The insider gossip is that Universal is considering pulling that deal and keeping things straight to the Peacock network or the Peacock streaming service. Whatever. There's just so many streaming services now.
This is what I mean.
Crazy.
There's too many streaming services, for one, and for two, what of those pictures from Universal do they don't have the pull. They don't have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can't think of anything Universal's come out with in the last 5 years that's going to make me honestly even consider getting the Peacock network.
The Secret Life of Pets.
Ooh. But you know what I mean? Like they don't have a franchise like the MCU or Star Wars or
Fast and the Furious.
Okay, I saw the first one. The rest of them suck.
I know. I'm just pointing out that they do have it. It's just.
But they don't have enough ass behind any of those franchises to justify. Are you going? It would be cheaper for me to just go buy every single Fast and Furious movie on fucking pay-per-view or on DVD and keep them at my house. You know what I mean? Like they just don't have. They don't have the ass enough behind them. To justify to most people, I think, going out and getting another streaming service.
Yeah.
They just don't. And if you give a shit enough about NBC shows, you're gonna watch them on fucking cable anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if I give a shit about any HBO and NBC show, and again, this also goes back to that Hulu.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like their new 24 hours after their network stuff comes out. You know, if everyone pulls off Hulu, then what the fuck does Hulu have left? Some old, outdated television,
Pretty much.
What do they got?
Yeah. And to add one more twist to it, Viacom CBS, which owns Paramount and Paramount Plus, just set a new deal with the cable network Epix that allows for more control over where the studio's films land after leaving theaters. So Viacom CBS can take movies like A Quiet Place 2, Mission Impossible 7 to Paramount Plus before they'd ever be available on a channel like Epix. So as you can see, it's like a chessboard. Every company is starting to move their pieces, trying to go for this, checkmate. But it's gonna be.
I don't think anybody has enough to checkmate.
Right. That's what it is. Yeah.
See, Disney has like those kind of big name ones right now, right? They've got Marvel, they've got Star Wars, they've got all of their Pixar stuff and all of that. So they've got quite a big pack on them. But it's not enough to put the other ones out of business. It's really not. And nobody really has enough deal breakers to kind of really set them out as on their own. And like I said, I really do think it's going to end up being I really do think it's going to be so diluted that the people are just going to be like, well, I don't know what to tell you. But I mean, like I said, I look at Paramount Plus. I don't have Paramount Plus. Don't have HBO Max. I don't plan on getting Peacock. Like none of these like really intrigue me enough to be like, well, I really need to know. So I was like, who owns Transformers? I don't give a shit. Transformers kind of sucks too. G.I. Joe. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And Scott, sorry, to answer your question, he says, who owns Transformers and G.I. Joe? I think it's Paramount. I think Paramount is the studio behind. I mean, obviously, it's owned by Hasbro, is the company that owns it. But if you're talking about what movie companies are producing them, I want to say it was. I'm gonna double check on that, but I'm almost positive it was Paramount Pictures.
I just can't, dude. I know that you're more into these things than I
am. Yeah. More or less.
I mean, let's be honest. I think that you look more at some of these franchises that I really could give a shit about. I mean, like if it's on TV, a lot of those, like a lot of the DC stuff, like if it's on, I'll watch it.
Right.
If it's not, I'm not gonna go search for it. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
But it's not enough for me to throw. And I don't know, like on the whole of the country, right? Who is really willing to do that? When in retort to that, okay, if you're Paramount right now, you could put your stuff on Amazon and Amazon Prime and Netflix, right? And they will pay you certain rights to have those things on their channel, right, in their queue. Mm-hmm. When people, I don't know exactly how the billing works, if somebody watches it or if they just have it in their archive or how that works, I don't know. That's above radar pay grade. But then it's guaranteed fucking money every month. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I don't see. They're spending a shit ton of money to develop these apps. They're spending a shit ton of money that's above radar pay grade. But then what the hell was that?
That was weird.
No, I was like, I thought you were like fucking.
We got an echo there for a second.
I thought that was your new fucking drop or whatever. Anyway, but I mean, I guess I don't understand the point of it. I don't understand like how much more they're trying, how much more you're going to gain from it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. You're better than
I did confirm it is Paramount Pictures. Yep, distributed by Paramount Pictures, production company Paramount Pictures. Also DreamWorks was involved, so that's the production company. But Scott, I see your thing, man. A good G.I. Joe live action series. I know they wrapped doing Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes got his own standalone movie that wrapped. It's coming soon, and I heard that they're in pre-production for a Lady Jane, which was a female G.I. Joe character, so that Lady Jane's gonna get her own. So if they end up doing this like the Marvel universe, where you had like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and then you got Avengers, it would be cool if they did like a one movie on all these characters, and then they form the G.I. Joe. That would be kind of cool. Just like every person got. I think that would be cool. Is that every character, not every character, but the main characters got like their own standalone movie, and then they come together to form this G.I. Joe group. But anyway, all right, that's it. We've reached the end of my list, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end. I know it's sad, but we are at the end of another episode of, I almost said How I Met Your Mother. It was on the tip of my tongue. How I'm slightly delirious. Another episode of Pop Culture Warrior. Radar, if you've got the energy, if you've got the vocal cords, can you tell the audience at home what they can expect?
All right, you have been listening to COVID Radar and CQ at Pop Culture Warrior. Tomorrow dawns the day damn no scheduled activities. Thursday is Sergeant's time. Ice and Spanky, all the big sergeanting things. They'll be bringing you active duty, National Guard Reserve, all that fun shit. And then Friday, got Friday Night Freedom, Kaz and Pookie, bringing some more fucking awesome content. Saturday, Sunday, weekend off, because with Ballas. Monday edition, Flash, Ice, guest. I'm not sure. I don't know if Flash will be back. He's a busy man, but Ice will be there. And then Tuesday, you come back to us.
That's right. One last time, guys. We are over the 700 mark for the Pop Culture Warrior Facebook page. If you haven't liked, follow, whatever, because once we hit 750, we're doing a huge giveaway. I got a bunch of crap that I need to get rid of. It's not crap. It's really cool stuff, but I just have too much. I've collected too much over the years, and it's time for it to go to a new loving home, and my wife says it has to leave. So you could be the lucky one to walk away with some really cool items, some one-of-a-kind items, autographed memorabilia, original artwork, just really cool stuff.
That should be that we'll do that on our show, on our 750 show.
Yeah.
That'll be when we have the
misses.
We'll give them like a 15-minute interview.
Yes, they get to ask us questions, the burning questions. And then lastly, real quick, for those that missed it, just because I want to get pumped up one more time, let's do a little more